Here's a recent Sony Handycam acquisition. This is a Sony TRV480, which was one of Sony's high-end, top-of-the-line Digital8 camcorders. One of the reasons why this camcorder goes for so much on eBay and has such a great resale value is its ability to play back analog high 8 and 8mm tapes and stream them digitally over FireWire so you can transfer them to the digital realm on your computer. In addition to that, you can also use its AV jack to convert an analog video source such as a VCR or DVD player, and you can either record it to the tape digitally or you can stream it over FireWire to your computer. So you can use this camcorder as a very high quality analog to digital converter. Now this camcorder does use LED spotlights. It actually has 3 LEDs in there, and while it is great with power consumption, they really don't do a great job of casting any decent light. And this model being one of the higher end units, if we switch on night shot, you'll be able to see inside here. This also does not have an S-video jack. The TRV480 does, and you can see the black plug right here, which would facilitate the addition of an S-video jack. But it does have an infrared remote receiver here, as well as 2 infrared illuminator LEDs that are located behind this black plastic shroud. And like many of the Sony Handycams, it boasts of its 990x digital zoom, but that's really of no use to me. But it does have 20x optical with steady shot. The only pitfall with these Digital8 camcorders is that they all seem to follow the same standard, whereas when you set these to widescreen 16:9 mode, the steady shot is disabled. And also, this being a touchscreen model, they removed a lot of the buttons and features, and whereas the older Digital8 only models that did have the addition of the tape transport controls, counter reset, etc., etc., those controls are missing and are now replaced by one single touchscreen. This does have night shot, but being its night shot plus, it tries to preserve at least some of the colors of the video that you record with it. Thankfully, Sony had the foresight to use and put a permanent physical button here for the LED light, so even though the light's not that bright, you do have a physical button to turn it on. And the TRV260 and 280 that don't have a touchscreen, they do have fader and I think exposure or focus controls that are located here, but those were removed in this model and the TRV460 so that they can add this Memory Stick Pro Duo slot. And this does have the easy Handycam operation. Strangely enough, this being a high-end Digital8 camcorder, it's got a smaller viewfinder than some other Digital8 camcorders that I have from Sony. Another distinguishing factor from the TRV460 and the 480, this being the 480, is that the plastic they use is all black, and it does have the zoom controls, but they use a black plastic and a black rubber for the eyepiece, whereas the TRV460 uses a very dark-colored gray plastic material. One nice thing about the Memory Stick Pro Duo slot is that this camcorder takes its digital photos not to the tape, but it takes it digitally straight to the Memory Stick Pro Duo slot. So I guess that's an advantage of having the Memory Stick slot. And you can see we have controls for tape, memory, and play edit. So you can record and play back videos to the Memory Stick Pro Duo slot, but it's very low fidelity and low quality. Here is its AV jack, which also doubles as an AV input, so it can convert real-time analog audio and video to digital video and audio and stream it through its FireWire jack and or record it to its tape in the Digital8 format. It does have a FireWire in and out jack and USB port for USB streaming and possibly transferring photos and videos from its memory stick slot. I haven't actually tested that. And one neat thing about these Handycams is that they decided to put a date code on here. This one says 5D, which means it was made in the 4th quarter of 2005. It does have a standard tripod mount as well as a locator pin. You remove the tape like so, and this camcorder's tape mechanism is working fully. A lot of these camcorders seem to have an issue where either the cassette door doesn't close and latch in place, or it doesn't eject at all. And this being a Digital8 camcorder, you can use either Video 8, High 8, or Digital8 branded tapes. They all work the same. Let's put that in now. We're going to go ahead and put this on now. Feed straight from this Sony Digital8 Handycam, which is going into this High 8 camcorder that has analog recording capabilities. The cable that I'm using has a bad connection, so I apologize for that, but now I can show you without having to record my fingers touching the screen the menus. One thing I don't like about this camcorder is that to use the fader controls you have to go through this touchscreen menu, which is kind of annoying if you're recording and you're not really focusing on the fader. It does have spot focus, which uses the same mechanism as an iPhone, whereas you just touch a certain portion of the screen and it will focus to that exact area. Program AE, which has a bunch of different settings for portrait, spotlight, sports, and you can see how it kicks you out of the menu whenever you make a setting adjustment, which is annoying because when you just click OK, there's no way to go back into the menu. You have to click OK and then click Program Menu again. Turn on Super Night Shot, which just merely adjusts the shutter speed accordingly if we go into a very dark portion of the video. It's not dark enough here to actually do that, but you'll have to take my word for it. There we go. So you can see how it works like that. It does have color slow shutter, which adjusts the shutter speed. It does make everything smeary and shaky, but if you're just having it on a tripod and you're trying to record natural video that isn't ghostly green. And then we have digital effects. Still, if I turn that on, it does have flash, which just makes it a strobe effect. Luma key, that's really cool. I can now do a Luma key effect straight on the camera. It has trail, just makes it ghost. Slow shutter, which is useful because this doesn't have a manual shutter control. You just have to use the 4 preset shutter speeds. And then old movie, which just letterboxes it and uses a slow shutter speed. You can do titles on here, so if I want to do happy birthday or hello, I can do it on the touchscreen. In this case, having a touchscreen does make it a bit more convenient. And you can see that there's a bunch of record modes, audio modes. I set it to 16-bit, USB streaming, the remaining tape, and then some of the same settings we were just in. And you can turn on 16:9 wide mode, but like I said, it just squashes everything together. And you actually can't see it because my camcorder is recording it as what looks like an anamorphic 16:9 video, but on the actual screen of my camcorder it is squashing everything. That's about it really for this Handycam, but you can see, if I get this cable to cooperate, it's got nice fast zoom control. So anyone who's wondering what the quality is on this camcorder, well, here you are. This is just recording straight to the tape, and if you're watching it, that means I captured it digitally via Firewire. Okay, here's a quick audio test. I gotta keep it brief so I can avoid copyright troubles, but here you go. And this is in low lighting. It does very well, considering that a lot of high-definition camcorders don't do a very good job in low light. And it's not all that grainy. The steady shot does a really good job at keeping it steady. The focus is very responsive and very quick on this camcorder. It's actually so good you could see the dust on this battery. In fact, I can push the lens right up to the camera and you can just make out that it's still in focus even though there's no light getting to the actual image. And focus is very quick because you see it just went back into focus. So there we have it, a quick test of this Sony DCR-TRV480 Digital 8 Handycam. So there it is, the Sony DCR-TRV480 from 2005. Thanks for watching, and do leave a comment if you have one.